Hi friends, Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and today we are going to make hummus. Hummus is a dip that is made from chickpeas or garbanzo beans. It also has lemon juice and garlic, a little bit of cumin and tahini, and it is so good. I buy it normally, but now that I have a blender, I decided to give it a try and make it myself, and boy, I thought it turned out way better than it does when I buy it. Now, I am using my Vitamix blender, but you can also use a food processor. This does get really thick, so I would certainly recommend that you have a blender that's powerful enough to handle the thickness of this. Hummus is traditionally served with pita bread or toasted pita bread. I just serve it with tortilla chips because that's usually what I have available. But you can buy pita bread. I think Costco even sells pita bread chips. So you can serve it on toast. I have spread it on toast for lunches and sandwiches. It's like I said, it's really good and I really enjoy it. All right, let's go make some hummus. After the beans have finished soaking, then you need to drain them and give them a good rinsing. And it's time to cook them. So you're going to cover them with plenty of water. And I always salt my beans. Some people do, some people don't. It will not make them hard, but I get them cooking. And while those are cooking, after I get it boiling, of course, I turn down the heat so it can simmer. It takes about an hour. Then I am going to squeeze my lemon juice. Now, you can use store-bought lemon juice, but I just wanted to follow the recipe I was using, which, by the way, is in the description box below. And so I wanted to use freshly squeezed lemon juice. And they were some pretty big lemons. Eventually, I just kind of cut them into quarters, which made it a little easier to squeeze. It took 2 lemons, and that gave me about what I needed. I had a little bit left over. Then I wanted to prepare the garlic, so I just I used more cloves than the recipe called for, but I just kind of smashed them, which makes them super easy to peel. So I peeled my garlic and basically set that aside. Once the beans are done cooking, you're going to strain them out, but you want to make sure that you save the bean juice because you will be using some of that in the recipe. So I just strained mine into a bowl so that I could have the reserved bean broth. Now that my chickpeas are all cooked and ready to go, it's time to make the hummus. Aside from the garlic and the lemon juice, you're going to need some tahini, which is basically ground sesame seed or like sesame seed butter, I guess. Some olive oil, salt, and cumin. I started by adding the lemon juice into my blender, and you could use a food processor, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And then I added all my cooked beans. The tahini, the olive oil, and my salt, and a little cumin. And I started blending that up. And as you can see, it gets really thick. So I had to, several times during the process, I needed to kind of stir it up and mix it around so it didn't get too thick for the blender. And then I added that reserved bean broth. I didn't want it to get too runny, so I only did it a little bit at a time. And then I would mix it, and if the blender seemed like nothing was happening, then I would stir again and add a little bit more of the broth. And stir and add. You just kind of keep going back and forth until your beans are smooth, they've been mixed well. In total, I probably let mine mix for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I think in the end I should have probably let them mix a little bit more. At the point I felt like they were done, I went ahead and stopped the blender, and there you can kind of see the consistency and see it's a little bit chunky in there. I think, like I said, I would have let it blend maybe a few more minutes in, or a little bit more time at least, to get it a little smoother. However, that did not affect the taste at all. The recipe made quite a bit, as you can see, but we ate it all. I shared it with my daughter and her family as well, and I am looking forward to making this again. Thanks for watching my video. If you decide to make some hummus and use this recipe, let me know how it turns out and whether you enjoyed it or not. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? I appreciate that very much. All right, everybody, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.